Hey everybody, welcome to Two Comic Book Dudes. This is Just Another Zenescope Monday. We're coming to you with 2 full weeks of Zenescope stuff, catching up again. But hey, we have reviewed every single Zenescope book back to April of 2014 on either on our show or on the site, comicbook.com. So, if there's anything Zenescope, except for one book, but even that we kind of talked about. But every book back to the only one we didn't do was the holiday special, Zombies versus Cheerleaders, which was really good. It was, we didn't get it, but it was. I bought it and read it after the fact. It was a collection of stories. Zombies versus Cheerleaders. It was kind of funny, kind of corny, but it was definitely a good book. But anyway, so I'm Aaron, editor in chief of Comic Booked.
Hey everybody, Justin, managing editor of Comic Book.
And we're trying to get caught up here. We've got 6 books to talk about this week. The 3 of them came out last week, and then 3 of them are coming out this coming week. Then we'll jump right into them here. So,
yay! Lots of Zenescope books. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, at least we're lucky with Zenescope. They put out high quality, and because of that, they only put out a limited number of titles each month.
Yeah.
So even if we get behind, we're not like drowning like if we were trying to do like one of those, like a show of all their books every week, we would drown. So
I had thought about like taking highlights for some of those, but it's just too much. This way we can talk about every book from this publisher. We can tell about all of the
and
stories and art and everything.
So it makes sense for the most part.
Yeah. All of them have some connection. Even Grimm Tales of Terror, which we're going to talk about this week, has some connection. Although this episode doesn't really, or this issue doesn't really necessarily tie in because we don't see a certain character. But yeah, everyone has some connection through the different worlds. So I just threw in a kind of a summary cover there for everybody. I know how cold it's getting out there, and you're still dreaming of the beach. And some places it may still be warm enough you can go to the beach, but not here. It's still kind of chilly. So from last week, we had Coven number 4. This is 4 of 5. So next issue will be the finale of that series. And this is the return of Baba Yaga. We all thought she was dead. She comes back in this series. Pretty cool. And it's really, it's really the witches versus the
Crusaders.
The Crusaders, yep.
And the other witches who are dealing with the Crusaders.
Right. So you have the evil witches and the good witches, right? Is she a good witch or a bad witch?
Right.
Make me a sandwich. Anyway, so you have Avril, who is this girl who is kind of, like a goth chick.
To have all this power.
Right. But she was a member of this, this coven that was just a bunch of girls who had powers, and they go out in the woods and they do things. And it wasn't like they were, evil monster creatures, right? But she and the rest of her coven were taken, and all of them were killed except for her. And these evil witches want to absorb her power to become invincible and destroy all of humanity, and all kinds of good stuff that definitely should happen, right?
Of course.
I guess it depends on who gets elected next year. Anyway.
It is. But at least, all right, so Baba Yaga in this one, teams up with one of the Crusaders.
D'Artagnan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's his name.
Yeah, one of the Musketeers.
Right. The 4th one.
Right. Orlando Bloom.
Oh, and before that, it was Chris, the guy who played Robin.
Oh, right. It was Chris. Yeah,
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Donnell. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I liked better. Chris O'Donnell was okay.
I like that one because of Charlie Sheen and everybody.
Yeah. That was great because that was all them just. I mean, it was just fun.
Yeah.
That was the one with Tim Curry in it too, right?
Yeah, I think he was the bad guy.
Yeah, he was the Cardinal Richelieu.
Yep. Cardinal. Yeah.
Yep. That was a great part for him too. I like that. So anyway, we're getting off track, getting sidetracked.
Yeah. So D'Artagnan and Baba Yaga team up and basically reveal that the lead Crusader is
the sorcerer.
That he's a wizard, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so he's kind of going against everything that he's telling his men to stand for.
Right. Yep, and he's made a deal with the witches for immortality, 400 years of immortality, and basically indestructibility. I mean, he can be hurt, but he can't be destroyed. And all he has to do is give them Avril so that they can become all powerful and wipe out humanity, which is, seems to be at odds with each other, but he just wants to live another 400 years.
Right.
And we can kind of spoil this one because this was last week's book.
Oh, yeah, it came out.
But it was really good. I mean, there was a lot of good action. D'Artagnan convinces the men, hey, we got to get, we got to fight back against this guy. Of course, he kills most of them.
Right.
And then there's the knight, who we find out is not really human after all. He has like metal blood, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's like there's some type of weird universal soldier program or something. They just regrow them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And there's a whole bunch of them, not just the one. So who knows what we'll be up against, and maybe that's just kind of foreshadowing for something in the future. We'll see. But overall, this is a pretty good book, and maybe this is setting us up for something else. Some bigger story, because I can't imagine they're going to wrap all this up in one issue. But sometimes you'll get stuff like this, like Realm Knights miniseries that came out a long time ago, a couple years ago, was kind of the setup for the Age of Darkness, which was the setup for the whole Realm Wars. So there's always things going on, plans within plans, that Pat Shand and the team up there are putting together to keep us interested and keep things exciting in the Grimm Fairy Tales universe. So. Yep. Speaking of which, we can slide on over to Grimm Fairy Tales 116, new issue. I keep saying episode because it's kind of like their TV shows, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
But this was really good. We're continuing the story of Bloody Bones and all the folks at Arcane Acre. Bloody Bones was released back on issue 112, and he escaped, and he's some kind of weird creature that feeds and lives off of the dreams of children. But he actually can live within anybody's dreams and draw power from them. And in this one, him and the Warlord of Oz, who he brought together with Maka, the woman who had been taking the place of Durana, who had actually been feeding information to Sela, saying, "Oh yes, do this here. You need to be here," and all to set it up so that the convergence could be undone and Bloody Bones could be released in the first place. So she's evil. Of course, we know the Warlord's evil. Bloody Bones is evil. They're all evil. Lots of evil going on.
Evil everywhere.
Yeah, but there were some pretty cool parts in this one.
Yeah, and we get introduced to a new character, Philip Moore.
Yeah, that's the one lady's. Oh, that's right. That's the kid, right? That came in.
Yeah, who's going to be a new student there.
Yep. Yeah, we don't know what his powers are or anything, but I love the whole thing with Wiglaf asking him all those questions. Asking him a bunch of questions. Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? And he says, "Are you going to use any?" Because Wiglaf's the guy that's the cat person. So you're going to use any strange cat-related terms towards me? And he's like, "Well, I wasn't before, but now I will."
Yeah, he's cool. Funny. He's cool.
Yep. So it's really good. Ollie and the whole thing with Haley being a ghost now. What's the girl's name? Muerta.
With the death mask?
Death mask girl, yeah. So she can give life to the dead. And her and Ali are working together to try to give Haley a new body, a new water body, which is really cool because she almost succeeds. And you actually see another scene where she's trying to make the water body again on her own. So that's kind of cool. Maybe they kind of gave Haley the push she needed to recuperate her body and come back to life. Would be awesome. So, but death and destruction. That was my big note from this issue. Death and destruction, because it is pretty bad. People die, things get destroyed. Stuff does not look good.
Jeez.
Yep.
I was not expecting that, because basically what's going on is Bloody Bones and the Warlord are they've cast some kind of spell or something, and they're just waiting for everybody to fall asleep.
Yep. And once they get Sela and Chang and all the powerhouses asleep, they've got them locked in. There's only a couple people who are still alive, and it's just a hands-down massacre when it comes to that. So this is a good issue. If you've been reading Grimm Fairy Tales, don't miss this one. 116. It's part 1 of Something Wicked. Part 2 next issue. So definitely want to find out what happens.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say this issue, for whatever reason, I don't know, especially the first few pages just look really, really great. I think it was
Oh
just
yeah,
the shadowing with the color and everything.
yeah. I
So
liked that it wasn't like solid. It had a different texture to it. But
exactly.
I love the art in this. This was really good. Definitely a different feel than some of
Mhm.
your other standard Zenescope books. And I like that.
Yep.
It's nice to see an artist when they come in and kind of have a different texture. It's pretty cool. All right, here's your most unfavorite of the Zenescope books. Charm Season 10, number 13 was out this week. A lot going on here too. You know, you've got
A
Coop,
lot. I had a lot of notes.
basically. Yeah, you had a lot of notes from this one. You're joking.
I read it first, so I had the most.
Okay.
The notes got smaller as I went.
I was gonna say I don't think you even read this one. But there was a lot going on though, because you got Coop brought their kids up to the Cupid's castle for protection, and in so doing, he kind of set the Cupids up to be seen as taking a side, and they've always prided themselves in being neutral. And so by forcing them to, or by making it look like they took a side, he has to be punished. And his punishment is that he can only see his wife once a year on their anniversary of their wedding, which is really bad. But they're going to fight through this, and hopefully it'll work out. And we'll see. Something will change. Something will happen. The Cupids will need help, and sisters will have to help them, and in exchange they'll let him go, or who knows. Pat Shand has a plan.
Yeah.
But it's good. Then of course you have the whole thing with the demons with Prue and all the demons that she's finding out about. And what was the name of the Hermishon or something?
Yes. Hermus.
Heramus, yes.
Hermus.
So they hear the name Heramus, or the word Heramus. They don't know what that is, but they see a vision of all these different demons who've escaped from the wastelands. So something happened when they thought they were retrieving, whatever his name is.
Cole?
No, they thought they were retrieving Cole's soul, and they actually got his father's, Ben's.
Ben,
and then when they brought him back, he's in Cole's body. And then they're trying to do a spell to kind of figure out what to do with him, I guess. So
yeah, and he's messed up because he sees his son's like memories.
Yep.
How messed up all that stuff is. So
yeah, because a lot of things that he was trying to protect his son from, and he sees now what he wasn't able to save him from, and it's sad. But it's an interesting part of the story, I think. And Kira's helping, or Kira is helping out. She was a demon, now she's human, but she still has that connection with dark magic. And Prue definitely has a hand in all this, being the nexus of all. The other sisters are all having their problems. Everybody has an issue of some kind with their significant other, or with their life.
Yeah. Everybody gets a section of this book to kind of go through or talk about what they're facing right at this moment.
Yeah, and that's what I like about this series. It's less about magic-y magic, and more about the relationships and the personal interactions. So it's definitely good that there's a lot to it. If you like that kind of story, you should pick this up.
Yes, if you are
all right.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's it for last week's books. This week coming up, Wednesday, will be the 11th, 11/11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got 3 books coming up here. So Aliens vs. Zombies number 4 is the first one. And this is 4 of 5, right? Yeah. So this is the penultimate chapter. And then we have, the finale coming up. A lot of good stuff happens in here. We won't spoil it. But, you still got the humans and the aliens teaming up. And then you also got them teaming up to fight really the biggest of the monsters in all of this series. And those are the other stupid humans.
Yeah.
As always. Yeah. But it was good. It was a very interesting, again, it's the interactions between the characters, kind of the way they go about doing things. Some neat things, the aliens see that because of, the one guy's name is Cole in this one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of Cole's actions, that maybe humans aren't all bad. And I thought that was kind of cool, and he's like, oh, I don't know about that.
Right.
A few of us are okay.
Yeah, like I said, they're still trying to get get
Yep.
get a dish back to the ship so they can repair it, so they can cure everything. So
Right. Still not sure on that whether what's going to happen with that cure. But it's pretty interesting. I love the cover. I thought the cover was just great, and the artwork inside was very, very good.
hmm yeah, this has been a fun series. I mean, it's like you said, it's a different take on the whole zombie outbreak and how that would come about. So it's fun.
Yep. So 2 more books left this week. Grimm Tales of Terror #2. This is volume 2. And this one was a little different. As you can see on the cover there, it's the Cask of Amontillado. It's a twist on the Edgar Allan Poe story, which is a great story. The man walls up the guy within the cask, and then in the end he gets walled up in his own cask. And in this way, it's kind of the same story, but it's a different premise that you're working off of. So it's excavators, or what do they call them? Archaeologists in Egypt, finding a pyramid and looking for the mummy.
This is all set like turn of the century, early
the
20s.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was good. But the only thing missing in this issue is Kyrus. We've seen Kyrus in every issue of Grimm Tales of Terror, Volume 1 and Volume 2 so far, and she did not show up at all in this issue. So now, did she have something to do with that mummy coming back to life?
I found her.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, she's in it.
Okay, but she doesn't play a prominent role like she normally does.
Nope.
So she's there, standing in the background?
She introduces somebody at a party on like page 15.
Oh, okay.
And she's got the only black, voice or speech bubble.
That's right.
Yep.
I do remember seeing that and thinking, I wonder what that's for. But yeah, I didn't even.
I had to go back because I'm like, there's no way they left her out of it. It's like a Where's Waldo at this point, though. You got to find her.
Yeah, right. So she's there, but very small part. Normally she has a pretty prominent role in the story, at least to introduce and kind of give the closeout of it. But in this one, she just shows up to introduce a couple people, and that's it. So, but it's a good story. I thought it was pretty cool. And I like the artwork in this one, too, especially the shadows and stuff.
It looks really good, and I mean, if you're not familiar with the story or anything, this is a different twist on it, so it does change a little bit, and give you that like wow factor. So I thought they did a good job with it.
Yeah,
this has been one of my favorite series from the Tales of Terror. So
yeah, I love the fact it's just like the old EC, the old horror books. I mean the House of Mystery or whatever from DC, or the old stories like that were pretty cool. So it's a good one. And last but not least, Robin Hood ongoing number 16 is out coming up this week. Pat Shand writing this one as well. Just so much going on in this series. I don't even know. They've been investigating a bunch of disappearances, trying to find out what happened to these girls. A bunch of 13-year-old girls all born on the same day disappeared. And looks like the cops are involved. It looks like the cabal is involved. All kinds of stuff. And the big reveal of who's behind it all is pretty cool. And you'll find out. We won't spoil that. But we'll tell you that a lot of people get beat up. A lot of people get shot.
A lot of things get blown up.
Yes. Yep.
Kind of broken.
and they sort of introduce a new character, Ruby Wiley, in the very beginning, first couple pages, and she's coming up next issue. But Ruby, Red, and so she is the Red Death, and kind of show her her destruction down through history. And I thought that was interesting. So we'll see how she plays into this whole thing next issue.
Yeah.
All right. But that's it for this week. Definitely some great books from Zenescope. Check them out, zenescope.com. You can pick up any of the old back issues that you need for your series. I just finished up reading a couple of series, actually one with Kyrus from Grimm Tales of Terror called No Tomorrow. And I picked up issues 2, 3, and 4 of a 5-issue miniseries. So I need issue 1 and 5. So I'm going to go on zenescope.com and find those 2 issues that I need and order them just so I can finish out that series. It's a very interesting story, but I really want to know what started it and how did it end,
Right.
But I try to pick up stuff like that every once in a while when I haven't seen it. I'm like, oh, this is something cool, and I'll get a couple issues out of the dollar boxes or whatever. But this was something they had a big sale at my local comic shop, and I picked all that up. So you can check us out on comicbook.com. We also have our Facebook page, Comic Booked, on Facebook. Have our Two Comic Book Dudes page. I don't know. We have some discussions about that, whether we're going to continue with that page or we're just going to consolidate everything on Comic Booked. We have better reach on the one page than we do on the other, with only like 72 followers. So,
Yeah.
but then look for articles on our comicbook.com website as well. New content there almost every day. And then some big changes coming in the next couple months, hopefully, as well. So leave some comments, like, share, do all that good stuff. Please subscribe. Let us know what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, what you'd like to see more of. I know I'd like to be able to have some stuff to give away to you guys. Still working on that with the Zenescope folks. I reached out to Pat Shand last week and said, hey, who's doing your PR stuff? Because they're not getting back to me. Yeah. And maybe they've just been so busy with convention stuff that they haven't had time. But that's all winding down now. So we should be able to get some cool stuff to give away.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're watching this and you think we're doing a good job, you should tell Zenescope that we're doing a good job.
Yep.
That would help. And then we can
tweet out to them. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that might help us get stuff from them to give to you. So yeah,
that's right.
Like Aaron said, tweet away.
Yep.
Tweet away.
Help us help you.
Yeah. Your Twitter handle is @Zenescope, so it's super simple.
Yep. And you can also send Pat Shand tweets at Pat Shand and let him know what a great job we're doing. Tell him we love Two Comic Book Dudes, because I talk with him all the time too. So, and we did interview him a few weeks back, so you can check out our interview as well.
Yep.
All right, well, that's it for this week. Stay tuned next week for some more great Zenescope stuff, and of course, check our channel and make sure we always have new content up. I think we've pretty much done something almost every day.
Yep.
I have a couple of videos to put up tonight, so look for more from Zenescope, more from other publishers, and all kinds of other cool stuff.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, thanks everybody.
Have a good one.